Banning stood for basketball, I'll just tell you that. Football program was not that popular at the time. You would see kids in different parts of the city dribbling basketballs and playing basketballs. So that was that was the key. The young people always playing basketball.
This is a story we've heard before. Small town America, home to a single high school, with a team that rallies its community. For 3 decades, that was Banning. Like any small town, it looks inviting, unless you came here to play basketball. On San Gregorio Avenue, just up a ways from Interstate 10, sat Banning's towering Quonset hut-style gymnasium, where the Broncos held court for more than 50 years. It was cramped, noisy, and most importantly, terrifying to anyone who came here.
They were, the elite team in that league and had the streak that everyone was very aware of. So it was exciting. It was a small kind of cracker box gym.
You pull these bleachers out, they're almost on the floor. And when you get that kind of people in the bleachers yelling and screaming and the echo of this old gym, it really is intimidating.
For 3 decades, losses were rare. Losses during a league game were practically unheard of. In Banning, winning basketball games was everything. Clad in green and gold, the Broncos were as intimidating as any team in the Inland Empire, and they feared nobody.
You kind of knew you were going to win for some reason, and we didn't worry about losing. It was never in our mind, losing. Just kept winning, and it was so great.
From 1983 to 1991, Banning's basketball team won a then-state record 98 consecutive league games. It remains the standard for Inland Empire dominance. They did it at times by slipping past an opponent at the buzzer, like they did against Elsinore in 1986, or by escaping in a thriller like the Broncos did against Notre Dame, also in 1986. And there were games where Banning's juggernaut of speed, pressure, and shooting prowess was fully unleashed. To close the 1989 Sunkist League season, the Broncos scored 132 points in a rout of Bloomington. From 1978 to 1992, Banning ruled the Sunkist and De Anza leagues. There were 2 CIF titles during that era, a pair of runner-up finishes, and a lot of deep runs into the playoffs.
Excitement and enthusiasm was there for basketball. But if we weren't winning, it wouldn't have been there. Okay, but these kids were winners, and the town was a winner. They loved basketball.
In 1989, Banning was coming off a 31-1 season that produced a CIF Southern Section 2A championship. The 1989 team returned just 1 player with varsity experience. But the Broncos were just as loaded as they've been in years past.
It was a great season. A lot of excitement. Gym filled every night for the games and stuff. Everybody in town knew about the record, so gym was always packed. A lot of excitement.
At Banning against Temecula Valley, the Broncos eclipsed the state record with its 82nd consecutive Sunkist League victory.
Felt great the day I remember the day we did set the record. It was a big old weight off your shoulders. Got back to having fun, but the whole season was fun, but a lot of pressure.
Banning's success was the result of 2 coaches over 40 years, who in the early days formed a unique partnership. Ray Curtis, a former player, led Banning from 1972 to 1984, winning CIF championships in 1975 and 1982.
We were winning leagues on and off. Banning had a reputation of you would never know what you were going to encounter. Because we had a lot of kids that actually didn't even look like basketball players, but that was not the case. They played like basketball players.
While Curtis led the varsity, Stan Smith mentored Banning's 7th and 8th grade players at Susan B. Coombs Junior High School. In 1984, Smith succeeded Curtis as the varsity coach, and the Broncos continued to roll.
I knew I was very fortunate that I was left with good talent at the high school, and a lot of them were my kids from the junior high. The pressure didn't mount till as the years went by.
The streak was never easy. The Broncos faced stiff competition in the Sunkist League, which often included Paris, Elsinore, Rim of the World, Notre Dame, Bloomington, Yucaipa, and the late 1980s Temecula Valley.
We kind of set our goals on trying to end their streak and kind of were pretty open about it, which I think added to the little bit of a rivalry we had. We were on the wrong end of the rivalry, but we didn't duck it, and I think gave them a couple good runs for their money.
Every game was big against the Broncos, and Banning's aggressive style of play created havoc on the court and off of it. After completing an undefeated Sunkist League season in 1990, Banning moved to the De Anza League and faced a long road trip to 29 Palms.
We got back on the bus. We didn't stop or anything. They were real quiet. And normally, on a loss, everyone still is loud. You know, on a win, they're louder. But these guys were really quiet because they had the shoulders of this whole town on them, see.
Those days of dominance are over. League titles are now few and far between. But every so often, that old style comes roaring back, with the hope that the basketball glory days will return.